Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I'm bringing you my first online battle for Rome Total War since the release of Hannibal at the Gates. This is actually a 3v3, and I'll be trying out one of the new factions, the Lusitani. I teamed up with, on my right here, was Vladek. Of course you may remember him from my Medieval 2 videos, great player. He's playing as Pontus. And on the left is another great Medieval 2 player, FriedrichSmith, and he's playing as the Seleucid Empire. So our opponents directly opposite me is Athens, opposite Friedrich is Macedon, and opposite Vladek is Egypt. It's been a while since I've actually done a 3v3, and I haven't really been able to do them because it's just been really laggy for 3v3s and stuff, but it appears to be, it's been very, very good. It feels like it's far more optimized now since the release of the new patch, and even recording this is just looking like it's been quite a pleasure. So should be able to get more Rome 2 out now, which is great. So anyway, let's have a look at my army. Up front I have 3 Balearic slingers, and what I'm actually going to do is I've got these 2 Scutarii spearmen. Pretty good spearmen, good bonus versus infantry, good melee defense, and I think it's a pretty cool and sturdy unit, and it's got the counter cavalry tactics as well. So it's going to be quite a cost effective, cheap, but pretty good against cav and as a meat shield kind of unit. I'm going to use them to support my Balearic slingers, keep them safe, and support my cav if the option arises. Something I did notice with the Lusitani was they had a fairly good pool of infantry. We've got the Lusitani and nobles. I mean, look at that attack, 64 attack, 67 melee defense, that's 70 morale. That's a really good unit, and it's got headhunt. Frenzy tends to exhaust your troops too much in my opinion, but it can be useful sometimes. But I find headhunt is way more useful to have. But then these other guys, these 5 units of veteran shield warriors I've also got. These guys are a pretty solid middle of the road sword unit as well. Very capable, as you can see there, 50 attack, 65 melee defense, some good, it's pretty good stats there, and they're not too expensive. I think that's a really cool unit. Going to be very, very helpful. Then for cavalry, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of the Scutarii cavalry. Again, I didn't realise it at the time, but apparently the light cavalry's actually got more attack and stuff, so it's very strange like that. But these guys have more armour and stuff, so I wanted something that have a little more staying power, so that's why I got those. And then I got 2 units of the Iberian skirmishers, which are javelins. I got them just in case I was opposite Egypt, or had to deal with elephants in any capacity from Egypt, and I'm going to actually send them Vladek's way to help him. So if we have a look at FriedrichSmith's army, he's got, let's see, he's got 2 median cav, his general's a Hellenic cataphract, then he's got an Indian armoured elephant, so that'll come in very helpful. Then he's got 2 thorax swordsmen here. Then his pikes are, let's see, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 6 units of levy pikemen, which is actually a really good choice because levy pikemen are actually quite capable. They're cheap, cost effective, and as long as they're supported well they can hold for quite a while. Then he's got several Syrian archers, I believe it was 4 of those, and then he's got, I think it was a light peltist in there as well, another thorax swordsman up the front, interestingly enough. I'm not really sure that getting these Syrian archers was a great idea, because I don't think there's anything being done with archers as of this current patch, which is a bit disappointing. I know that the peltists have been somewhat nerfed, not massively, but they have less ammunition now, if I remember correctly. Yeah, light peltists used to have about 12, 13 ammunition, now they've only got 10, and the damage has been reduced a bit as well. I don't know if I like that. I kind of like the way peltists were, although they were a bit powerful. Maybe they could have reduced their missile damage. They shouldn't reduce the ammunition as well though, so I'm not sure if I like that or not. So it would seem, as far as skirmishing goes, that slingers, which have not been changed since the last patch, as far as I can tell, are definitely the best way to go. Then we have Vladek's army. He's got, let's see, he's got 5 eastern slingers. That's a good choice, they're a good slinging unit. Then he's got, I believe it was 5 bronze shield pikemen. His generals are Pontic Royal Cav, and he's got 3 Noble Blood Cav and 2 Mercenary Scythian Horse Archers, and then he's got a Pontic Swordsman out here. So that's our team. The Macedonian player over here, he's got, let's see, looks like he's got 6 Thorax Pikemen and 6 Cretan Archers. And I see a Thessalian cav and a companion cav. He's probably got some more cav somewhere, but we can't quite see it yet. The Athenian player's got 4 mercenary Cretan archers. Then he's got, I think it was 3 pikemen. And then he's got 2 3 peltas. Then he's got these 3 of these picked hoplites or hoplites. Syracuse, that one of the other new factions gets them as well, and so does Athens. And then he's got, I believe it was like 1 Epeius lance for his general, and then 3 citizen cav. And the Egyptian player went really elite. He's got an African war elephant. Then he's got 3 citizen cav, and then he's got 4 thorax pikemen, then 4 Galatian royal guards. That's quite a lot of Galatian royal guards. It's going to be a serious unit if he uses them properly. So anyway, let's get into it. Now, we didn't really have a huge plan in mind precisely, but I mean, because it's very difficult to communicate with your team in Rome too, because you've got to actually go into the menu and then type the word team, and then you've got to type to your team. It's annoying. There's not actually just a little button press that takes you to team like in previous games. Basically, that wasn't great, but makes it difficult. But the advantage that we have here is that myself, Friedrich, and Vladek have worked quite a bit in Medieval 2 together, so we can kind of adapt into each other's strategy, so it's not a drastic disadvantage there. Now, I'm in the centre, which it's pleased me, essentially, because I didn't really want to fight Macedon or Egypt with the Lusitani, because judging by the Lusitani's unit roster, that would be quite tricky, so Athens is the most logical choice for me to face. It would be the best, easiest target for me to fight. But also, as this player who's in the centre, it's my job to support both Friedrich and Vladek, depending on what situations arise for both players. So if you're a centre player in a 3v3, your job it's usually pretty good to be actually quite a powerful faction in the centre with a powerful infantry type core. I'm not really got powerful infantry here, but it's capable enough to fight these Athenian ones. But I've got quite a good skirmish, and I can easily support my allies, so it's my job to kind of watch opportunities and things that are coming up on the flanks and the insides here, while the others kind of work on their little fights on the side and things. So I kind of have to support both Vladek and Friedrich that way. But the advantage of being in the centre is it's not possible to flank me very easily, so unless we break up or something like that. So this way I've got pretty secured flanks, so I'm going to try and skirmish, thin out my my Athenian opponent, because my Balearic slingers will outperform his Cretan archers, and I can use my cav and my peltas and various things to help my opponents on the side and perhaps get an edge. If we can overwhelm one side of the flank, then I can engage my opponent, and the other person from once the one they're flanking wrap in on them. So it's quite useful that way. So we figured, I think the Egyptian player's got the best arm, Egypt's the best faction here rather, but his army's not really that great. It's not very well balanced out, so we figured we'd probably skirmish away with the Egyptian player, thin him out, make him rush forward, and then Vlad and me could combine or something like that, and I'll just support Friedrich as needed while he holds his opponent in play, and I'll hold the rest of my Athenian player in play. So what we'll kind of do is try and do a knockout kind of blow up through here, and that sort of thing. We didn't really communicate it, but I could tell what Vlad was trying to do, so I was able to help him with that. While Friedrich kind of just comes forward and stabilizes, or much more, stabilizes along there like that, and I'll just stabilize along here as well, and we'll just kind of hold out, skirmish a bit, and I'll just support Friedrich if he needs anything. But we'll probably try and focus on the Egyptian player, simply because the Egyptian army, it's not very balanced. It's got those Galatian royal guards and the elephant are taking a lot of money, and thorax pikemen bronze shield should be able to handle those, and Vladek will definitely be able to win the cav fight, and I've got my peltasts to help him against those elephants, because peltasts are good against elephants. Plus, he's got all the skirmish, so he can kind of concentrate fire on these thorax pikemen stuff, and that's going to start ripping them up pretty roughly, and that's pretty useful. Over here, all I'm going to do is just kind of use my scutarii here, I'm actually going to try and use them to draw these Cretans forward, because I noticed my opponent, he don't know if he was aware of it, but he was getting kind of clustered with his Cretans, and if I can get them clustered while I'm more spread out with my guys, I'll get more concentrated strikes. So as you can see, he's kind of bunched, so I'm going to try and use my guys here to draw them in. Now these guys have got pretty good shield value because they took a couple of volleys and didn't really lose any men at all. However, I turn them around here. Now I'm going to lose some men here, lose about 10 men, but this will mean his men will have to come forward a little bit, and then I can start massing my missile fire on him with my Balearic slingers. So over here, as you can see, this tells me how much an inexperienced player this Egyptian player was. Run all these Galatian Royal Guards straight into Vladek's pikes, and Galatian Royal Guards like a superb infantry unit, but you should never go into pikes in the front like this unless it's with another pike. And then he's got no cavalry in support, so his Galatian Royal Guard, which are his elite units, get destroyed really easy. So he's probably a pretty new, inexperienced kind of player. Over here I'm now skirmishing. As you can see, my opponent's very clustered up, so every time I hit I'm going to be hitting multiple targets, whereas he's not likely going to be hitting me, and he's using flaming arrows for some reason. I don't know why. He should have been worried about my skirmish, because as you can see these guys are dropping very, very fast. As you can see over here though, a straightforward enough fight here for Vladek, because these bronze shield pikes are going to destroy most of these Galatian Royal Guards. Now Galatian Royal Guards are a better unit for sure, but he's just not going to lose that kind of fight. So you should never go into pikes in the front. Here he sends the elephants again straight into the front, through his own men, through the front. Now it's probably going to be enough mass to break through them. However, I've got my peltists here, and they'll start pumping some shots into these elephants. And that's his elephant. That's his general too. So if he loses his general, it's pretty bad. As you can see, Vladek easily wins the cav fight. And basically, what happens over here is there was a bit of a cavalry fight over there. Now I've slipped my cav forward here, and I was going to go for some of these skirmishes, but I'm not able to. Now I have to quickly close my ranks here to make sure they can't get through to my Balearic slingers, and I'm going to use the counter cavalry tactics with my guys here. Now they're not braced, so that's not really that great, but that will do some damage to his cavalry for sure. So over here there was a little cav fight with the Athenian player and Friedrich, and I gave him a bit of an assist there, but I missed some. But as you can see here, I bring my cav forward to try and catch some of these guys, and I do manage to get a few of them in a bit of a melee grind here, and it's destroying a lot of his citizen cav. So I believe these with the Scutarii spearmen, I mean, look at that. You know, I might not just noticed it, but when you put counter cavalry tactics on, it takes their bonus versus large like all the way up to 100. It's an awesome ability. I love it. As you can see over here, Vladek's just mopping up what's left of the Egyptian player. Pretty easy for him there. Which is quite good, because all Friedrich's had to do is just sort of skirmish away. However, his archers will get beaten by Cretan archers. That's why you should bring slingers, because slingers do better as it is. So my opponent rushes some of his picked hoplites forward, and what I'm going to try and do is just use these guys to kind of stall them or interrupt them, and while I continue to skirmish. As you can see, he made a mistake here. He didn't protect his guys, so I sent one of my Scutarii cav all the way around the one I had on to go and help Vladek. I managed to slip it straight into the back of all these skirmishers, and he's going to lose tons of Cretan archers, a very expensive and valuable unit, to the Scutarii cavalry, which is going to cost him real bad. So now I kind of just whittled down his pikemen with skirmish fire, and now I reshift my lines here a bit just to try and get a better position. Here I see his calves become isolated, so I'm going to try and kill his general. However, because that Paius Lance is a shock cav, it will probably destroy my Scutarii cav, but his guys are weakened, and I can start putting slinger fire into his general on the flank here, and if need be, Friedrich can come and help me in this particular fight. But because I've got javelins, it won't matter, and if I can just kill his general, it'll be very helpful. So I reshifted my lines here, coming back here, forcing further back, because I don't want to take those pikes in the front, and this enables Vladek to take up here, and it kind of splits these line between them, so that Vladek and I can corner off the Athenian player and defeat him. So I'm just using like concentrated fire to hit some of these pikes, I believe, after these cav. I used a bit on the cav there, but they've been destroyed by my cavalry because I had some missile support there. My Lusitani and my Scutarii cav probably could destroy the citizen cav, but it would lose the Paius Lancer. So I now get onto the flank here, because he's had to line up for Vladek. I'm able to get in and onto the flank, and his picked hoplites, as elite as they are for hoplites, will get destroyed by my sword infantry here. That's easy pickings for my swords there, so they'll pretty much destroy them. And as you can see, as cool as they are, hoplites are still not as strong, not very good against swords, so they'll get destroyed by my sword-based troops. And now I outflank him over here anyway, and he's going to get destroyed even faster. I just keep shooting into his pikemen as well, and he's real broken up. At this stage, Vladek took a cavalry fight over here. However, I was going to come and support him. As you can see, I'm on my way, but I noticed that there are I believe there was thorax pikes in the vicinity, and I see that Vlad's not going to stay, and I'm not going to go help him then if he's not going to be there, because if we don't work together for that, we'd lose it, so there's no point in that. So my infantry's cleaning up the Athenian infantry, which I expected it would. As long as you don't take pikes in the front, if you get them in the flank or in the side, or you can thin them out with missiles, and your sword infantry will tear them up. But you don't want to do what that Egyptian player did and waste an elite unit against pikes like that. So now Friedrich's confident enough that he can take on the Macedonian units. He's got the cavalry advantage, sure, and those elephants, if you get him into the flank, will absolutely rip up his opponent. And because myself and Vlad have won our fights respectively, we'll move out onto the flank there. However, I noticed here that Friedrich kind of went straight into the pikes. He wanted to try and move onto the flanks, but he did get Stampede going, so he's going to rip these guys up pretty bad with these Indian armoured elephants. Or it'll cause some serious panic anyway. He's got his levy pikemen fighting these thorax. These levy pikemen will lose that kind of fight. However, he's been able to get his Hellenic cataphracts and median cav into the flank there. And the Macedonian player has to pull back the cav. He had his Thessalian cav that he had over here trying to help. The elephants are now in behind his unit, so he probably should turn those around and go into the pikes. But myself and Vladek are on our way. I'm lining up my infantry to come over, but I don't think I'll need those. So you can see some of these elephants are still roaming around in the back, and as you can see over here where he had some of his other pikes and his swords, he broke through. At this stage I send, that's me and Vladek send our cav in to get rid of these last skirmishes and take on this cav. At this stage, with all his allies destroyed and so many forces opposing him, the Macedonian army is bound to have very, very bad morale at this stage, and it'll rout a lot sooner. So our cav here should be able to tear up a lot of these units pretty quickly. As you can see, the Macedonian units are starting to rout pretty much in mass now, or going to very soon. Some of his thorax pikes did pretty well, but micro-ring pikes can be more of a tricky thing sometimes. So my infantry is on its way, as you can see, and so are my skirmishers. At this stage though, because of the whole, just how much, everything that's arrayed against him, the Macedonian army's morale is very low, and he's breaking pretty quickly. So I'm just going to friggin' run at it now and just try and get these last guys out of the way while they're disrupted. So going into the flank of these guys here, I believe they're about to rout, and then between Friedrich's cav and my veteran shield warriors there, we rip into these last few hoplites, thorax pikemen. And that's basically it really. It's about to end in a moment, and you see it rout. So pretty good battle. I think we did pretty good. It was a good battle, and we didn't even need to communicate that much. We just kind of know how to work it. I know that Friedrich's pretty new to Rome too, but both myself and Vladek have over 300 hours on Rome too. Not that that's probably heaps, but we've got a bit of experience with it anyway. So I went with Vlad there, and I was going to support Friedrich as was needed, and I think it worked out pretty well. But that Egyptian player didn't play very intelligently. No offence to him, he just didn't play very, like, you know, you should never do what he did basically. So there's the end results there. 983 kills for Vlad, so he takes the top position. 466 for Friedrich and 879 for me. So it's pretty cool to use a new faction. The Lusitani are new there. Some pretty good sword units. Their cav's not too bad, melee cav, and they've got the Balearic Slingers, which is a great skirmishing unit. So they're a pretty cool faction. Other than that, though, it was a pretty good game there. As you can see, 115 kills for these guys, 48, 59, 46, 73. That Lusitanian Noble, that's a really good unit. That's like Oathsworn level, Praetorian Guard level kind of unit. Cav got quite a lot of kills for the type of Cav. and as you can see, the Balearic slingers did pretty well. Let's take a look at Friedrich. Elephants and his cav got most of his kills. His pikes didn't do very well, but that's because they took on a superior pike from the front, and his swords didn't really get to see enough action before they could get kills. That's me, and let's just click on Vladek. His cav again did well for him, and his slingers did very well for him as well. And yeah, a few of his pikes got some kills, and the sword unit did pretty good too. Our opponent, the Athenian opponent, nothing really did very well for him. The picked hoplites, as cool as they are, hoplites are not, they're not really like, they're a good holding and fixing force, but they're just too expensive, the elite ones. You better just go with some cheaper ones. Peltus did okay. He got too clumped up with his Cretan archers, but Cretan archers will lose to slingers, especially Balearic slingers, and then Hippias lancers didn't do that much, and his citizen cav got defeated by my cav pretty easily. And then, let's see, the Macedonian player, his Cretans did do quite good because they were up against Friedrich's auxiliary Syrian archers, and they are better than auxiliary Syrian archers, so they did do pretty well there. You're better to go with slingers, and some of his thorax pikes did okay, but he didn't. He kind of just got swamped by all of us, so he did pretty well to hold it how he did, but he did about as much as he could really do, basically. And then the Egyptian player, really, I mean, even his Galatian Royal Guards, look at the 64, 51, 69 from the front against Bronze Shield Pikemen. That tells you how powerful Galatian Royal Guards are, but you never go from the front, because it's just, you're going to get, destroyed, even with the best of infantry, sword infantry. You need to get onto the flanks and outmaneuver them, and then watch those pikes die. But that gives you an idea of just how good Galatian Royal Guard are. His elephant got a few kills, but other than that, it was a small but quite expensive army, and he didn't use it very well, so it didn't get many kills. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It was a very fun game. Great game to Friedrich, Vladek, and those other three guys, our opponents there. Next time I'll have a 4v4 coming, and the Swedish Landsneak will be joining us for that one. It was a very fun game, that one. So it'll be my first 4v4 for Rome 2, and I'll be uploading that next, I assume. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Rome 2 is getting better and better, I think, for the most part. It's going from strength to strength, and I think it's going to be much more fun to record it now because I'll have less problems. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon next time.